And here on Wednesday, this is Chris from Divine Key. I'm here on Wednesday, January 13th. It is the new moon, and I know that a lot of people who follow me work with moon energy. And I'm not going to talk about the new moon. There's a lot of people out there who are posting about that. But what I am going to talk about are the three things that I always do before working with any kind of energy. And these things are critical in the sense that you want to set the space for what you're doing. So I'm going to get right into it. And the number one thing before you work with any kind of modality, any kind of energy, is to be sure of your source. And when I say source, I mean anything. So for some people with a Christian background, that would be God, or it could be Buddha, could be the universe. I say source or spirit, um, because that's the way that um, the information feels to me. But it is the source information. It is the place that you are confident and secure in the energy that flows to you from that source. Um, it's a really difficult thing for me to explain. I have a knowing within me when I connect to source. It feels right. There's no doubt in my mind that the information I'm getting is for the highest good of everybody, and that it comes from a connection that's pure. And it's not, it can be actually, in my mind, it can be a lot of different things together. It's like saying, you could say it's God energy, but that might just be a piece of it because I also do Reiki. So Reiki is a connection to it. It's almost like saying, well, the only thing important in my body is my right elbow. And it may or may not be. It's actually all the things working together that is the energy of your body. So if you kind of think of that as source energy, it could have a whole bunch of different components in it, but ultimately they are all different flavors or different varieties of the same energy. It all comes from exactly the same place. Now, I wasn't really sure how I was going to explain this. So, what I decided to do was I'm going to take my Oracle cards, which are the Power of Surrender deck, and just see what comes out in relation to, because when I have a tough decision or when I'm struggling with something, I go to my cards, whether it be tarot or oracle of some type or my runes. So I'm going to pull an oracle card and just see what does it say I should do when I'm talking about source energy. Like, what is the main thing? And what popped out is surrender your desire to control people. Being over controlling can sabotage relationships. To be more effectively achieve your goals, back off, regroup, and give the situation some breathing room. And this is interesting because what I get when I get this oracle card is it's like an ego card. It's like surrender your control. And I'd like to say control, not just control of people, but control. So really, when I'm talking about source or spirit or God or the universe or the cosmos or Gaia or whatever word as a human that you use, for me, it's all the same energy. And I'm confident and secure in my connection to that energy. Now, there was a time when I had been involved in reading tarot, and there was a large number of years that I walked away from it because I was not confident. I was not secure in that source energy. So, the number one thing that I believe everyone should be sure of is what is your source energy? What are you tapping into? What do you know about your source energy? Now, um, the second one, we're talking number two now because I'm talking about three things that I do. The second thing that I do is I set my intention. So once you're secure and you know what your source energy is, and that's going to be the same source for everything that you do, then you set the intention before you begin the actual work that you're going to be working on, whether it be reading cards, doing a Reiki treatment, reading Oracle, working with crystals. I mean, like for me, it's the same no matter what I'm working in, if I'm making a connection with spirit. So I just have a little saying, and it can change and it varies, but just create an intention. My intention for this session of Facebook Live is to convey the trueness of what I do when I work with energy and how to create the environment that's a safe and comfortable place to do energy work. So something like that would be the intention that I set. And it can be elaborate, it can be a type of prayer, it can be a meditation. I mean, it can change. I don't work in absolutes very often, except for the source energy. That really is my only absolute. So the intention will shift and change depending on who I'm working with or what I'm trying to achieve. Um, and be willing to allow that to flow, to switch around, but set the intention at the beginning so that you have very clearly communicated to spirit and to your own ego what you're trying to accomplish. And this would be the time that you would also call in any guides or archangels or any additional spiritual support that you typically work with. So you call them in to work with you at that time. The third thing, the third thing that I do when I work with energy is I set a sacred space. Now, that has a lot of names to it again. When we talk about energy, there are so many different words that mean the same thing to me. So when I talk about your sacred space, it could be burning incense, it could be smudging, it could be I use my Reiki because I'm a Reiki master. So that is like the quickest, easiest way for me to set the energy boundary. And when I say set the or there are some online practitioners who talk about setting a circle, but it is setting your own personal protection. Um, it is setting the space for the people that you're going to be working with. So if I'm doing a reading for someone, or if I'm working as a rate with a Reiki client, then I set the space, I clear the space, I set it through my Reiki to only allow the highest good for the person I'm working with to come through. So, for example, when I'm doing this public thing, like an online Facebook feed, I set it for every single soul person who is watching this at whatever time they watch it. I set the intention that the protective space will be there for whoever is watching it for their highest good and filter the information to only display and they'll only receive the information that they need for their highest good at that moment. So that's the third thing that I do. Now, I'm also adding plus one more thing that I'm going to add in relation to setting the space is don't rely on someone else to set your sacred space. So, for example, I will set the sacred space before a client comes into my studio for any kind of energy work. I will clear myself, I will clear the space, I will clear my tools. Uh, Plus one also, use your own tools or intentionally clear the tools that you are working with before you work with them if they are someone else's tools. But the key piece here is that you set your own protection around your own energetic body and not allow someone else to set it for you. Now, it can be layered. So, like, I will set the space. Say I was going in for a reading myself or energy work with somebody. Say I was going in for a Reiki treatment. I would assume that they would set the sacred space and create an environment that is safe to work in for their energy as a good energy practitioner. But in addition to that, I would set my own personal space within my energetic body that would filter whatever comes in for only my highest good with my own intention as to what I want to get out of that session. So you do have to take control of your own energy, of your own energy body. Um, you have to step into your own power related to how you connect to spirit through another practitioner's process. And combined, you will get the best possible experience from your energy work every single time. One of the key pieces that I know that I'm connecting to source energy and that I've set my parameters in a way that is functional is I don't get tired when I do energy work. I get more energy, because as the source energy flows through me and to my clients, then I get the benefit of that energy flow as well. And at the end of a 6 hour day, if I work nonstop, I've been known to be like completely pumped up from the energy that had been flowing through me for the whole day. Typically, I know that, especially when I was first getting back into the practice of energy work a few years ago, is I realized that when I wasn't really connecting to my source energy, I ended up exhausted. I was very, very drained at the end of a session. I will say, when I do energy work, that my physical body will sometimes be achy and tired. Like, for example, say I do 6 hours straight of tarot card reading. My wrists, my hands might be achy because of the physical process of shuffling the cards, but my energetic body is excited and energized, and I feel like so much better than when I began those 6 hours. So, those are the things that you need to be aware of before you begin any kind of energy work. So I'll repeat them. Number one, be sure of your source. Whatever you name that source doesn't matter to me, but be sure that you are connecting to a source energy that you trust and you're comfortable in. Number two, set your intentions. Set your intentions for what's going to happen during the energy process that you're working in. And number three, set your sacred space. And that includes knowing your source and setting your intentions. All of that comes together. And one additional one, plus four or plus one, is to set your own personal energetic shield or body. Um, to filter only those things that will bring you to your highest good. Do not rely on someone else to set the space for you alone. Allow them to do their process, however they do it. But then, in addition to that, you are responsible for your own energetic space. So, it doesn't work to say, oh well, I meant to do that, or I thought they handled. No, you need to set your own energetic space. So I hope that was helpful, and I hope to see you on my channel sometime. I hope to be doing a lot more videos. I'm getting my equipment set up and I'm getting much more comfortable with it. So look forward to hopefully seeing some more live videos from me, and check me out on YouTube if you haven't. I'm over there on Divine Kia as well, spelled QI. We'll talk to you later. Thank you and be well. Bye.